Right. Hello, Rachel.
Hi, Miller. What is that?
Music.
What's happening?
It's our intro.
I'm going to explain through interpretive dance.
Yeah. I think I'll turn it off now.
There's all the answers right there.
I have all the answers. Okay, good. I'm going to go ahead and hang up.
Those are all the answers.
Yes. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Miller. It's been a week, huh?
It has been a week. And before we go very far, welcome to the Rachel and Miller Show. And this is a show where the opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests and may not necessarily reflect the opinions of the people we may or may not be work for or we may or may not be associated with. So this is opinions, and we recommend that you see your locally licensed realtor and or financial planner. However, you do have 2 licensed realtors that are happy to help at any time.
True.
And with that, yes, it is true. So we are on a day earlier because life happens, and tomorrow just doesn't work.
Tomorrow doesn't work, and I need to talk to you about next week too, but we'll do that offline.
Oh, next week.
Yeah, remember, I told you I was going to be gone all week, and I forgot when we scheduled our guest.
Oh, and our guest is going to be interesting. And
I'm excited.
Yes, our guest. You know what? Should we talk? Yeah, we'll show people now. Our guest is a guy by the name of Carl Knoll that we've known for.
I haven't known him all the years, but I met him and worked with him in 96, 97.
Yes. And I think I met him before then.
Yeah, you were there a year before me.
Yeah. So yeah. And he does trusts. So hard for me to say trusts. And he's been doing it since Moses was a kid, and he's excited to come on the air with us. I was just going to surprise you and say, and here's our guest, Carl Knoll, but that would have ended badly for me.
I don't know. I think it would have been funny. It just would have taken me about 15 minutes to recover.
No, yeah, we decided not to do that. So yeah, that will be in 2 weeks, I believe, and we'll go from there. So last week we were talking about the new agent and what I would do with the new agent, the who, what's, when's, why's, where's. And the funny thing is, again, life happens, and neither one of us had a chance to go back and listen to last week's show. So we're kind of winging this.
I kind of skimmed it through.
Okay.
And we talked about you have a new agent. Your new agent has a listing. What's the first thing? So we talked about the documents and disclosures. We listed a handful of the most obvious ones. Of course, each deal is its own living, breathing thing. So there could be other documents. What's that?
You know nothing about that right now.
All agents know a lot about that. No transaction is the same.
No transaction is.
But
yeah.
So we talked about the documents on the seller side. We haven't gone into the buyer side yet. And so now our new agent has set up a open house, and they did their signage, which we talked about. You do a million of them. I do very few. We talked about social media posting, and then we talked about dual agency because as the real estate world is today, many buyers, actually, I'm kind of reeling back this statement a little bit, but my statement prior was a lot of buyers come in without representation. I'm taking that back only because this past weekend I did an open house, and pretty much everyone that came in said that they were working with an agent. Maybe they're picking up on things and they're starting to just say it, or maybe they actually do have an agent with a buyer broker agreement in place. Who actually knows? in any case, doing open houses gives us an opportunity to meet buyers. And if they're not working with another agent, that gives us an opportunity to connect and become a buyer's agent. And if the listing is ours, then we are magically dual agents, and that's still allowed in California. And I think that's where we left off.
And with the dual agent,
are you impressed?
I am very impressed, actually.
Okay.
Because that's where we were. And like, oh yeah, I'm impressed. And with the dual agency thing, and what that means is exactly what you just said, is the agent is both the buyer's agent and the seller's agent. So he or she wears both hats. And I'm the first to say, sometimes you're like, wait, what hat am I wearing? Okay, I got to go this way, because you represent the buyer and you represent the seller, and you have to do your due diligence for both.
There's pros and cons, definitely.
There are several agents I know that won't do dual agency. They said it's too much for them. I respect that. I like being a dual agent is then I know what I need and I can argue with myself. And when it comes to my transaction coordinator, she can argue with herself, and it just makes everything much smoother.
Those are the pros.
And when it comes to negotiation, it comes a lot smoother too. Is you can't disclose what you know from the buyers and sellers, but
I think that part's tricky.
That is tricky, but you then say, okay, well, Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller. So to me, it makes the transaction more smooth. That's just my.
It's kind of like being the blackjack dealer, where you know what hand you're holding.
Right.
And everyone else is negotiating against that hand, and you can't say anything.
You're like, okay, I can't say a word. I like the dual agency, and there's some states that they don't allow dual agency.
It's an opportunity to make good money.
It is you
work for it.
Yes, you do. I recently got a phone call at like 9:30 at night from an agent who was like, how does this work? What do I do? And they're a dual agent. And it's like, you can go this way, this way, this way, this way, or this way. And that's one of the things, and going back on track, when I have, or somebody, I'm going to say me, when I have an agent who I'm mentoring, I'm going to give them some different options. None of them are the wrong option. They're just different options that will come around and end up in the same place. But there's major learning opportunities, and just kind of like doctors and lawyers who are in practice, realtors are too. You said it a few minutes ago, Rachel, there's no one deal that's exactly the same.
That's right.
And you have to handle each deal independently. However, the knowledge base that you gain from every deal is that knowledge base. And we both said when we started in this crazy industry, we both love so much that I don't know what I don't know sometimes.
So we don't know what we don't know, and that's the same with our clients.
Yeah,
we don't know. One of my biggest things is when somebody is teaching me and they'll say, why didn't you ask, or don't hesitate to ask, or do you have any questions? I'll be like, not right now, but I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what questions to ask, and that takes time.
And that's a very fair assessment. Is I probably have questions, but I don't know what questions to ask. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think a good mentor comes in. Is, well, you may want to ask about this or this, because XYZ could come up.
Or what happens if this were the case? Like some critical thinking on your new agent's part. And if they're, they might trip over it, but you can help them through it.
Right. And nobody wants to see anybody struggle. And that's why mentors are so important, is to be there for your backup and have one's back no matter what's happening. If that mentee needs you to be there at the location, that's where you're going to be, just so you have their back and you can help them through it, and not taking any, I'm going to use the word power away, and that's not really the right word I want to use. You don't want to take any, I don't know what the word is.
I know what you're trying to say, like seniority or position. the front position of like, don't take away the captain's chair, if you will.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that happened when
You're
I was
co-piloting.
Yes. And that happened to me when I was in retail. Is I was the old man of the ship. So someone would ask a customer would ask one of my employees something, but here comes the guy with graying hair. Oh, he must know a lot. He has gray hair. No, that's your employee. That's your sales rep right there. I happen to know something, but yeah, that's your sales rep. It's taking the time to, and these are two different words, to both hear and listen to what's happening. And both of us have seen that this week, where people heard us, but they didn't listen to what we were saying. You're like, it's not what I said. This is what I said. I need you to listen to what I'm saying so that everybody's on the same page.
Which is why the written word is so wonderful.
Yes. And I don't remember if it was you or we were talking about it or I dreamed it. Is real estate. Oh, you know what it was? It was your broker who said it. Is real estate is kind of like watching a tennis match. It's pink, pink, pink with paperwork.
Right.
So it goes back and forth, and you're just watching everything go, and you are facilitating.
Every part of the conversation needs to be documented.
Yep. And if you have a verbal conversation, that's great. Document it. Document. That came from years of HR. Is you have to document everything. So everybody says on the same page.
So we have our new agent.
Yes.
I think we decided that he was a he, and he has a offer on his listing. What does he do first or next?
Well, he gets the offer in his email, and he looks at it.
And when you have somebody come to you and say, I want to put an offer in, and the agent in their head, his head, her head, they know all of the stuff starts flying. What they know they're going to need. And also I'm sure there's stuff I don't know. But we're looking at the residential purchase agreement, the RPA. What are the main things the main pieces of information that we need to get from the buyer to execute the RPA?
A signature.
What are they signing?
Yeah, we need to set up either a Zoom call or an in-person meeting, or a way that we're able to talk to that buyer. I'm sorry, the seller rather.
No, the buyer.
The buyer.
You're right.
Oh,
but what do we need to know? We need to know what their offer is in terms of the number.
You know their offer. Are there any contingencies? Do they need to sell their house? What's happening in their life? It's kind of a newspaper reporter. Who, what, when, why, where, how.
One of the questions I've learned lately is, are you going to be around for the next 30 days? Like if we've got a 30-day escrow, do you have any planned travel where you might be on the road?
And if you do,
we understand life happens, but are you going to be around for the next 30 days or however long? Oh, hello. However long your proposed escrow is. Is that your dog or your phone barking?
It's somebody at my door.
Oh.
Give me 10. You know what? You keep talking. I got to go grab it.
Oh, Miller, I'm going to kill you.
I know you will.
Come on, Miller. Don't leave me having a conversation by myself. So we know the purchase price. Ask your client to be, first we need the buyer broker agreement signed if that's not signed already. Then we want to know, are they going to be around? Are they leaving in the next 2 weeks? Do they plan on being on the road? Do they have access to a computer? Are they able to access documents digitally? Are they able to print things out? Those are going to be important things to know, because not that it's impossible to get the job done, but it causes oh, hi, Ryan. Ryan's here.
Rachel, I had to get that. It was law enforcement. It was a cop at the door.
Why is there a cop on the door?
There was a cop at the door. That's why I had to go get it.
Why is there always a cop at your door? Well, Ryan's on. Hi, Ryan.
And we can even see everything now. Ryan, we came on early just for you.
What did the police want?
They wanted somebody to talk to other than me. It was my address is very similar to another address on the other side of town, and I'm like, I said,
You're
know
not
the
looking
operator.
for me, Ossifer.
I'm like, hi. I said, his name is John. I'm like, hey, John. Yeah.
Ryan says you got swatted. So I was talking about, well, I backed up a little bit, Scott, and I said, make sure you have your buyer broker agreement in place. Then I said, what's the purchase price? Then I talked a little bit about, are you in town the next 30 days? Do you have access to a computer? Are you able to access things digitally? Okay, so that's what I went over when you were talking to the Popo.
Yes.
And then we also are going to want to know contingencies, like you mentioned. Do they have a property that they have to sell, that they need to sell because they need the proceeds to purchase this new property? Do they want inspections? Is there a loan in place? Is there a loan contingency? So there's all of these things that we're going to need to know. And Miller?
I was catching up on everybody, on everything.
Those are the basic things that we need to know to write an offer. Am I missing anything? It's that part is fairly straightforward, even though the RPA is many pages long because there's a lot of explanations on it.
Right.
The information that we fill in is fairly straightforward, and then we submit that offer to the seller.
Yep.
Voila.
And with that offer, the other things that you're going to want to check on that is when you're writing the offer, do they need help with closing money? Do they need any money to help close? Are we asking the seller for any help with closing?
And are we asking the seller for help with the buyer commissions or concessions?
Yep. Does the buyer have cash to pay their agent? And if not, is the seller going to help with that? It's interesting. In the last couple of days, I've seen some agents, not in Ridgecrest and not in Ventura County, that decided they would not show a house because the seller was not contributing to the buyer's commission.
How would they know that?
They asked.
And so is it no, they're not contributing, or put it in your offer?
That is my response. Put it in your offer.
However, because it can be discussed that way.
Right. But
they don't even want to put the effort in, not knowing.
Correct. And you can ask your seller. See, I'm going like this in my head when I'm talking about that. You can ask your seller, do you want me to tell the agent if you may be willing to offer some help on their commission? And they may say, yeah, with the cooperation. And they could say, nope. And I'll say, nope, what? Nope, you're not going to? Or no, you don't want me to disclose. Typically, they say, let's see what they offer. And I get that. Typically,
do you let your seller know that they are shrinking their market when they are not amendable to like I had a seller that said, if a buyer puts in an offer at asking, then that full commission to the buyer broker that's in their contract with their buyer, they will pay the full commission that the buyer has agreed to pay their agent. If it's under, then it starts to incrementally kink, 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 kink. I think that's in some ways smart, and in other ways not so great, because the agents, their earnings are getting ticked down as the offer gets, if the offer is less than asking.
Yeah, and it really comes down to the buyer's agent. This sounds like I'm being a jerk. Proving their worth.
That's a big deal these days.
You and I have both seen it where buyer's agents are like, yeah, go take a look at my website and tell me if you like any of those. And if we do, then I'll send you out and we'll see what we can do. is it's a very mixed bag. I was asked 4 or 5 times in the last week if I'm a buyer's agent or a seller's agent.
Yeah.
I'm
I heard
both.
that question this week too. Yeah.
However,
I'm where the opportunities are. I'm where I can help.
I do a lot of
Both.
I do a lot more seller's agents. I'm more of a seller's agent than a buyer's agent. However, 45% of my sales, I'm dual agent. So I'm also bringing the customer in with my advertising and my market.
Ryan, are you a buyer's agent or a seller's agent? We'll wait for him to answer. So we've got our offer and we're sending it to our seller. And let's just say our seller counter offers with a shorter escrow.
Hey, that's great. I can't read
45% dual agent. Oh, he's asking you.
Yes, Ryan.
Typically sellers 80%. That's good. Ryan, we need to have you on. We need to ask you, where are you getting your seller leads? How are you securing these listings?
He's making them up.
So maybe in the next few weeks we can have Ryan on. I think that would be fun. Ryan, do you want to join us?
Ooh, maybe I'll have him on instead of you next week.
That would be a good idea. The guest.
I have to. Yeah, there we go.
I'd want to watch that actually. We'll chat about it, Ryan. Okay, so
you just said chat. I have a drinking game for the word chat. Damn it! Thankfully, it's just water. You both said thanks.
You know what? We're gonna actually have to do that for real one day.
What's that?
A real drinking game.
And we will. Okay. You know when we're gonna do that? And you know who we're gonna have on? We're gonna have on the chief of police. And it's gonna be an hour and a half show. And it's going to be around
What's gonna be the drink word? What's gonna be the drink word?
I don't know, but we're gonna have the chief of police on, and it's gonna be an hour and a half show, and it's gonna be live, and yeah. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Can we okay, so we've got our counter offer.
Yeah, back on track.
A shorter escrow. And so what are you going to tell your new agent to do now?
Ryan, I don't like you right now.
Ryan's nestled. We're gonna nestle.
Yeah, Ryan.
In this 98 million degree weather.
Yeah, it's 97 degrees in Ridgecrest. And my tire melted today.
What are you going to tell your new agent?
I'm going to say, great, awesome new agent. How do you feel about this? Well, my buyer said he wants 45 days. Okay, well, now we need to have more of a discussion. Why do they
need 45 days?
And not that we are the judge, jury, and executioner on that, but we need more data. And we go back and we say, hey, Mr. Seller? No, buyer. Hey, Mr. Buyer, the seller is can be okay with that.
Seller wants to shorten it to 30 days. Buyer says, okay, I can do it. So now we've agreed on the price. We've agreed on the contingencies. We've agreed on the length of escrow. What does the new agent do now?
Goes and nestles with a
nestles with the police, the chief of police.
At this point, we now have an agreement. We have an agreement on price. We have an agreement on 30 days escrow. So now we are under contract, and we are sending this over to escrow, because escrow is if you will, a disinterested, or I don't want to say disinterested, but a
third party. Mm-hmm.
Yes, a third party, and they do their thing from there. And now we sit back and we give escrow all the information we have of the buyer and seller, and then escrow sends out an email, and they start doing their process. In the meantime, if there are contingencies, like if this was not a cash transaction, if this is a finance transaction, you are going to want to reach out immediately to the finance company and say, hi, how you doing? I'm Scott, or I'm Rachel, or insert name here. And your buyer we now have a contract and they want to rock and roll right now.
So believe it or not, I have yet to have to deal with a lender because all of my transactions have been all cash. So when I get that transaction with a lender, that's going to be new steps for me.
Right.
So, and that is the example of every transaction is new and different because
it is.
There's steps in there that this new agent hasn't done before.
He's going to reach out immediately to the title company, to the finance company, and say, we have a executed contract, go. And then the finance company will then they'll reach out immediately to their buyer and to escrow and say, hi, this is who we are. And if there's things on there like a termite inspection, we have a 30-day escrow. We got to start humming. So you're calling the termite company. Hi, we need to get a termite inspection.
How would you coach your new agent in terms of understanding and keeping track of all of the timelines? Because there's timelines everywhere.
Excellent question. In my world, I use a TC. So my TC has now been involved, and my TC has now sent out a
coordinator.
Yes, thank you. My TC has now sent out a timeline of all what's happening. And yes, I have.
He sends out the timeline, or you create it and send it to your TC?
My TC has created it because she's been in touch with everybody, going, okay, here's our executed contract, and we're supposed to close on. This is what month are we in? We're supposed to close. We're supposed to close in 30 days. So my TC is going to do that timeline, and my mentee is going to look at that and say, okay.
But Miller, are you relying on your TC to keep you on track with your timelines, or do you keep track of them? Do you keep an eye on them as well?
Yes to both. So once I have my TC design the timeline, and I double check it. And once we are both in agreement, is that a word? An agreement?
Agreement.
Yeah, I will put it into my calendar, and it will say Smith Home, day 1, and go all the way down the line. And with my mentee, we're going to do the same thing. They're going to put it in their calendar so they can see it. Thank you. I knew that. Oops. No, it's not. Oh.
Agreement is a word. So I have in one of my listings right now, I do a simple little manila folder, but I put a cover on the front. And on the front, it's got the address and any information that comes along with that property. I have email addresses. I have the MLS number. I have the escrow number. I have all of the information for both buyer and seller. I have the names and numbers of all the inspectors that I've used. And then I have the timeline, and I start out with it typed and I staple it to the front. And then of course I end up writing notes on it and stuff like that. But this is where, this is my address. This is my transaction. I pull it out and I put kind of like a cover letter on the top. So that way it's all there. And then if you have multiple transactions going on, you can keep track of it by like all of the information at a glance. That's how I keep my information organized.
You get a high five, and you know what? Here, I'm gonna give you a DJI sticker.
Thanks.
Put that right on you there.
Thanks.
You got a DJI sticker. That's outstanding.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
I know.
You leave all the balls in the air and you let them go.
Yeah, that's how come I have gray hair.
That's crazy. I would go crazy.
I do go crazy.
I have to ground all of the information. I need to pull all the information down and put it where I can grab it first glance. And then I would imagine that, Scott, you have multiple deals going on. I would imagine you'd need like a whiteboard or some kind of visual calendar in front of you to keep. Nope.
No, I do. I was just looking for it.
It's around here somewhere.
I had it up behind me last week, or over on my side wall, and it fell. And it was like 2 a.m. when it fell when I was sitting here doing some work. And I think I ended up on top of the China hutch. I was like,
Brian says he doesn't have any. He doesn't have. I mean, he says I don't either. Whiteboard. I use a whiteboard for active deals. Good. Probably a better system than mine. Good. So Ryan, we got to have you on so you can tell us all about how you do your biz. We want to know. I like to learn from people.
We're going to go a little bit longer today because we can.
Well, not too long. Too long.
No, not too long. Let's go a couple more minutes. So once we have everything, we have termites done, and in Ridgecrest we do roof inspections. It's because we have crazy
roof inspections out here.
What's that?
We do roof inspections.
Okay, we do them on every house out here. Not once in a while, but every house gets every house I've ever done has always had a roof inspection. And because we also have septic tanks, we do septic inspections and things like that.
That's not something I've had to do.
And we have well inspections.
Nope, haven't had to do that.
Yeah, I have to do well inspections, septic inspections, roof inspections, and not all of them have to be done. However, some of them do. Especially
and that can keep an agent very busy.
Yes, because like you said a few minutes ago, it's a lot of balls in the air, trying to keep track of everything. It's like, okay, this is going on here, and I will take, once this is all signed, sealed, and delivered, I will say, okay, Mr. or Mrs. We said Mr. Mentee, here is the list. What are we doing? And
good idea. A checklist of all sorts of different kinds of inspections that exist. Which ones do we need?
Yep. And then from there, okay, this is who I like to use. You don't have to use this person. This is what I've had good luck with. Here's a roofer. I've had good luck with this roofer. This person will do this. This person will do this. So having that checklist works out well. So now everything's been checked, balanced, and it's all golden. And now we are on the day of close. And
that went fast.
It was, wasn't it? It's like boom.
Yeah, our buyer stayed in town.
Yeah, our buyer stayed in town. The seller stayed in town. The last day, the agent is calling escrow saying, "Did it close yet? Did it close yet? Are there any hitches? Did it get funded?" That's what the other thing you're going to be talking to. You're going to have your mentee or yourself call in to check with the finance company. Do you need anything else? Is there anything else you need? And you can ask them, is there a checklist that you're going off of that I can see so I can head something off the pass if I need to? No, we're all good. And 9 times out of 10, hey, can we get that left-handed smoke sifter inspection? When? We needed it a week ago.
Good. Great. I like that you brought up smoke detectors. Sellers are responsible to be sure that smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors are in place. It's a law. It's by law.
Yep. And they have to be in place and functioning.
Yes.
Yep. And it's in every room except the bathroom.
Ish. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? There may be some counties involved.
Smoke detectors in bedrooms, sleeping areas, carbon monoxide outside of those sleeping areas, carbon monoxide in and around the kitchen, and smoke detectors somewhere near the kitchen, but not in the kitchen.
Well, you can. If I'm cooking, you can, because I'll make it.
We got to know the food's done somehow.
Right. That's how you know it's done in my. Oh, Scott's cooking. It's done now.
So, Miller, we're going to wrap it up by 35 minutes. So I'm going to let you wrap this up, and we're going to tail on to it with our, maybe not our very next one, but we'll add on to this later.
So once everything's all done, everybody's gotten signed, sealed, delivered, it is funded. And then you get to go to your buyer and say, I always like this phone call to my seller. Hey, seller, I have good news and I have bad news. What would you like to hear first? And you usually hear them hold their breath. And I said, here's the bad news. You don't have to talk to me every day now. And that's usually how it's met with laughter. And the good news is you no longer own the house on DRE Street. And they're like, yay. And then I call the buyer and say, Mr. Buyer.
And your funds are in, and your funds have been deposited. Woohoo.
Buyer, and I have good news and bad news for you. Oh, what's the bad news? You don't have to talk to me every day now. And they're usually met by laughter. And I'll say, you are the proud new owner of the house on DRE Street. I don't think.
You might be right. But I read somewhere near, if you can put one in, but near, not in.
I can't.
You're probably right, Ryan.
for some reason I can see it, but I can't quite read it.
He says, I don't think detector required in kitchen. Not in the kitchen, but the carbon monoxide, yes.
Well, yeah, in the hallway.
Anywhere where there's a fossil fuel thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up now. So
it's a professional.
Everybody gets paid and
wants to have less issues with false alarms.
Yes, well, false alarms are good.
Not required.
So yeah, everybody gets all paid, and the agent goes, "That was fun. Okay, what's next?" And they go do it all over again.
All right. So next time we'll talk about the seller side. And gosh, I wish the buyer side went that easy.
Right? Wouldn't that be great? So just because we are now 6 minutes over our regularly timed, and we're on a different day, which is even more interesting. Rachel, for someone to reach out to you, what's the best way for someone to reach out to you?
First, I want to say, Ryan, thanks for correcting or setting us straight on the detectors. RachelMoreno.gratishomes.com is my website. Rachel at gratishomes.com is my email.
There you go. And I am at sellingkern.com. I had to think of it. Sellingkern.com or homeswithscottkmiller.com. And you can reach me on my website here, and you can reach Rachel on YouTube also. Feel free to leave questions, comments, snarky remarks. Only address them to Rachel. She's much nicer than I am. And
yeah, right.
And my email is my name, Scott Miller, at epic.me. Soon that will be changing, and that's all I can say. In a good way. Not changing Epic, but it'll be still Epic, but in a good way. Just less confusing. So Scott Miller at Epic, EPIQUED, EPIQUE.
It's on your shirt.
Yes,
it's on your shirt. You can see it.
EPIQUE.me is my email, and always available for anybody. Well, Rachel and I, questions, concerns, emotional outbursts, we're happy to help anytime. And you know what? I think Ryan is too. Ryan, you can put your phone number on there if you want. I can't read it, but I can't see it. I can just see your name. So with that, until next time, and we'll see if we're going to we may do a show next week, but there'll be a show next week one way or the other, and we'll figure that out. And
did Ryan just say something?
I think he said ghost show. I can't
see the chat. It went away.
Oh, it went away. He hung up on you. Anyway, very good. I will go too. Rachel, it's been a pleasure. I will talk to you very soon.
Bye, Ryan. See you later.